Today's an exciting day. Bitcoin hitting 45,000. I saw you tweeting up a storm, all kinds of different thoughts. How are you feeling about sentiment in on Twitter and kind of in the market in general?
I'm good. It's pretty mixed. I feel like some people are still kind of in disbelief, but you do have a few people in the timeline who are kind of euphoric. So I don't know, seems like a good kind of mix here. I mean, general vibe does kind of feel like disbelief though.
Hey, what bears have to remember is that you can be bearish at certain points and you may make a little bit of money, but ultimately you're picking up pennies in front of the steamroller. This is a decades-long trend and we only going up. And so
bears win the battle, bulls win the war. So
facts. Will, you should be on a plaque somewhere for saying that. That's a great, great thing. All right, talk to us about some of these charts you got. First is you've got the this price chart. You got a whole bunch of different levels, green and red, that are outlined here. What is this showing us?
Yeah, as you just said, these are basically just price levels I drew out. I think the kind of main point I wanted to just get across here was just saying that I think at this point, we're kind of right below major resistance. And so from like a short-term kind of trading perspective, I don't think the RR here being, like giga long is great until we clear that resistance. You never want to buy right below resistance. You never want to sell, right before we hit major support. And so just from that perspective, as we're kind of pressing up against that major resistance, if I was a short-term trader and I wasn't already long, I would kind of just, wait out to see what the reaction here is at this level. But nonetheless, again, we're approaching this, major resistance level, both kind of in this consolidation pattern that we've been in, as well as just, horizontal price structure going back over the last year or so, which is right around 46, 47K. That's also around the yearly open. There's a few different moving averages over there as well. But that's kind of as I feel like we've been talking about for several weeks or whatever, that's kind of a key level that I've been watching. And then another kind of, I have two other ways you can look at confluence with this in addition to everything I just said. The first one is the next chart, which is short-term holder cost basis. So we talked about this last week, so I don't want to repeat myself too much. But essentially, this is the aggregated cost basis of all market participants that have been in the market for less than 155 days or less than 5 months. And right now, this kind of aggregated cost basis sits at 46,200. It does kind of move around a bit, week to week whenever we speak, but generally it's been hanging out around 46 to 47K. As of today, it's sitting at 46,200. And then last kind of thing that I wanted to point out on the confluence of 46 to 47K being kind of an important level is the third chart. The third chart is looking at basically a heat map of all the bids and asks across different venues. In particular, in this chart, we're looking at Bitfinex. The reason we're looking at Bitfinex has a higher hit rate than most of the other venues. If not, they have the highest hit rate. Kind of back testing, looking at all of the kind of, quote unquote, walls that they set on the both bid and ask side. Generally speaking, Bitfinex tends to kind of be the smart money in a sense. And whenever they kind of, place either a buy or sell wall, that tends to have some dictation on future price movement. And so what we see currently is that they had just actually in the last hour or so kind of set this ask wall between 45 and 48K. So that's confluence as well. You're seeing some large asks step in from Bitfinex in particular. What you don't want to see is like a partial fill. So this seems kind of counterintuitive. Like what you want to see for bulls in this scenario, because we're talking about an ask wall, you want to actually see it fully get filled, see all their orders get filled. And conversely, if it was a bid wall, what bears would want to see is, full fill of the bid wall. The reason is because the market basically moves in two ways. It moves because of, effort and absorption. So effort being active orders that are stepping in, right? So when you just go on, whatever venue you're using to allocate to Bitcoin, you just market buy, right? You're buying at the market price. It's like if you go on eBay, right? And you hit buy it now, right? You're willing to maybe pay a little bit higher of a premium just to go ahead and get the exposure and lock in your purchase, right? And then there's limit orders, and limit orders are essentially saying, and I like to use this eBay analogy because I think it makes somewhat of sense. You go on eBay, something's listed for $50. You don't want to pay $50. You say, well, I don't deem that fair value for this item, but I'll step in and place a bid at, $40. If it fills, great. That's where I think this is, worth my, purchasing power. If not, then that's cool. It didn't reach what I think is fair value. It's the same thing in the order book for Bitcoin, right? And so people come in and they set limit orders, both on the bid and ask side. And so whenever you see, a clump of bids or asks or wall, whenever you see that fully fill, that means that the effort in the market is outweighing the absorption. So in this case, if we see this ask wall get fully filled, to me, what that's indicating is that the effort or the active orders is outpacing the amount of absorption or this wall of asks that we're looking at now, or limit orders that we're looking at now. So that's what I would be looking at. Kind of the bear scenario would be these bids fill like 60, 70%, and then price reverses, because at that point it's showing you that the amount of effort in the market couldn't outpace the amount of absorption that was set out, if that makes sense. But yeah, aside from everything I just said, specifically talking about the order books, across the board, looking at order books, on-chain, and technical analysis, all three are showing that the kind of 46, 47K area is an important level for BTC. And so when you talk about kind of, this other framework that we've been talking about is kind of, there's value buyers and momentum buyers, right? And so I think for a lot of those kind of momentum market participants or trend following strategies, a lot of those will kind of trigger if we can get above that area.
Hey you, did you like this video? Great, we make 5 of them a day and post them here on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed, like the video, and see you next time.